Hey there, tarot lovers. Our card of the day today is the Five of Swords. So in this picture there's a guy who's holding three swords, and there are two more underneath his feet. There are two figures in the back that seem to have lost a fight that this guy has won. So this is the suit of the mind, we won't forget, and this is that simple mental idea of winning and losing, and this tendency we have to mentally think that we should and need to be right at every moment in our lives. We need to strive, we need to fight to be right. And this is the part of us that on a very mental level decides that the world is black and white and right and wrong and good and bad. And it's this duality that comes out in this card that's really strong, and this competitive energy that we have when we identify really strongly with our thoughts and our mind. And this identification really makes us desperate to prove ourselves. It comes from a place of insecurity, fundamentally, knowing that there's a little bit of us that's not quite enough, and so we have to fight in order to be better. And it's a mental battle. It's a battle of wits. It's a battle of sarcasm. It's a battle of manipulation with the mind. It's gaslighting, and it's a fight. It's a competitive fighting energy. And this is something that we all have a little bit of, some of us more than others. And when this card comes up, it asks us to really question how much we are fighting just to be right. Because sometimes we'll fight to be wrong fight to be right when we know we're wrong. and this is counterproductive. And this competition type energy, in order to be the best, in order to raise up and be better than somebody else, is a separation energy. It's an idea that and a belief that separates us from other people. And this separation will come out in many different ways. We'll end up judging the world in order to feel better. We'll end up putting other people down. We'll end up treading on people's toes in order to get above them so that we can feel better than them. And this just creates more division and more separation. And the judgments that we throw out there in the world are a simple reflection of our own inner judgments. And so we will actually strengthen our inner critic with this fighting dynamic. We might be running away from the inner voice that's saying that we're not good enough, and yet we'll be strengthening it by giving importance to this fight, by trying to be right, trying to be better, trying to beat somebody else in some type of competitive way. This judging ourselves versus somebody else is the critical nature of the mind that tries to divide. It tries to understand things, put things in boxes, make things different so that it can categorize very well the whole world, and in doing so it separates the world from itself. And this consequentially will have the result of separating our mind from our heart, that wants to see and feel and connect all things with love and truth, and just really resonate with the fact that we're all one, and resonate with the idea and the belief that we're all the same and that we're all good. There is inherently no right or wrong. There is, but there isn't. And so as we really strengthen this mental need to be right and to be better, we will break away from our hearts. And in this battle that the Five of Swords represents, there are no winners. There are the obvious guy who's sitting there smug and arrogant, and when we feel arrogant or when we feel this sense of pride, this is where the alarm bells go off. There are two other figures here who might be feeling more shameful, or might be feeling like I'm a loser or I'm not good enough, or there might be this tendency to give up the fight. There is also this energy when we want to feel better than somebody else. There's the other side of it when we naturally don't feel better than other people. We judge ourselves and we put ourselves down, and this energy of putting ourselves down and making ourselves the losers is also in this card. And so we need to look at both sides of the story here. We need to look at that lack of self-worth that we have, that makes us want to be better than other people, and that lack of self-worth that reflects in us putting ourselves down and maybe failing in our endeavors in life. Yeah, there are three different aspects, three different people in this card. Maybe the middle guy has just lost the battle, but he's walking away going, hey, I was only looking for a game that I can play, not that I need to win with. And maybe that's where healthy competitism is a good thing, when we're playing just for the sheer joy of interaction with others instead of needing to win all the time. There are different messages in this card. One slightly alternative message could also be that we need to stand up for ourselves and fight sometimes, but there's a very different energy in fighting for something than against something. If we're fighting against somebody, against another person's point of view, then we're missing the point. And fighting for our own point of view, or for our own truth, our own sword, is definitely something worth fighting for. So if any of these messages resonate today, or if you find your pride or your shame heightening or spiking in some way today, just sit down and say to yourself, yeah, there is no right or wrong. I don't need to fight to be the best all the time. I don't need to pretend that I'm the worst. There is inherently no better or worse. These are all just mental judgments that society may have agreed on some level, but are just made up. Wish you all a fantastic day.